Hello, in this video I'm going to share with you one of the biggest mistakes people make when it comes to overcoming their fear of driving. If you have panic attacks when you drive, if you find your palms sweating when you're driving at speed on highways, or any other time in any other driving situation, I can promise you that this is one of the big reasons why. So let me tell you what it is. When you read the comments on my videos, they all make more sense when you know this one thing. You see, what people do wrong is everyone looks in their conscious mind. Everybody tries to fix driving anxiety consciously by thinking about it. Well, you say in your videos that it's all about old memories and old emotions and they're trapped and they're coming out when I drive. That's correct, that's what it is. When you drive and you have panic attacks, it's because the driving is a trigger. So it's triggering off something from your past, an old feeling, an old memory, whatever. And when you drive, it's firing off, and that's what you're experiencing now. As I always say, driving anxiety has nothing to do with driving. So imagine if I was being triggered now. I go, oh, I'm having a panic attack. Oh, I'm gripping the wheel. Oh, the car behind me's too close. Oh. It's nothing to do with driving. You're reliving an old memory. And people say to me, well, I know that, I get that, and okay, maybe I don't even believe it. But the thing is, I've sat down and I've written down a whole list of things that have happened in my life. No, that's not how you do it. And people say, well, I know what it is because it happened when this happened, and blah, blah. No, that's not how you do it. You see, what all of those people are doing incorrectly, and many therapists themselves do this, is they are looking consciously. You've got to imagine this. What I do is I use hypnosis to help people find what a problem really is. And you've got to understand that when you go into hypnosis, first of all, it isn't like people think. You don't become a zombie and just suddenly go into this slouch position where you're like some lifeless zombie that someone can control and they can make you do anything. That's nonsense. But when you do hypnosis properly and you understand what it truly is, you will go to a different part of your mind. It's like a different you. So imagine now if I was thinking, what's caused my driving anxiety? Was it that car crash I had? Was it I was breaking up with that person when it happened? Was it when I was a kid? I do remember a time I went on a roller coaster. Then you go into hypnosis and it's like, boom, oh, what's that? Oh, you can see and experience things that you can't normally. And this is what scares some people. It's nothing to be scared of because it isn't actually as weird as it sounds. But you will have access to many things that you have long forgotten. It's a bit like, I compare it to this. You go into a shop and you're looking around a fairly small shop. Let's say this shop is, 10 meters square, and you're looking for something and you can't find it. That's like your conscious mind. And you go to the shop assistant and say, I can't find this. And they take you through a door and you go into a massive warehouse. That's like accessing your unconscious mind. Until you've done it, it's hard to even understand what it's like. And when people work with me, they will often say, I've had people say to me, what have you done to me? I haven't thought of that for years. Oh, I remember that. Oh, I remember that. And people start crying. And I say, why am I crying? I've got no idea why I'm crying. Tears are pouring down the face. Because you're working with your unconscious mind. Not the conscious, not the thing that CBT practitioners do. What's your problem? Well, I can't drive because I get nervous. What's making you nervous? Well, I don't know. Well, think about it. What's making you nervous? Well, I don't know. It goes round and round in circles. You don't get anywhere because they're in the conscious. I don't waste time with that. people who've worked with me will tell you, when we do a session, you could describe it as brutal, because what I do is I will go, this is the beginning of a call now. Hi, how you doing? Yeah, I'm fine. Right, let's get into it. Within about 10 to 20 seconds, we've started. There's no faff, there's no feel on my sessions. And then we get into it, and people say, oh, I've just thought of something. There you go, because you're in hypnosis. And again, it's not. I'll pull over in a moment and I'll show you what people expect, which is incorrect. People often think that hypnosis is this kind of magical, weird state, and it doesn't help that people make TV shows and films about hypnotists where it's made out to be really weird and strange, and this is what people think it is. So people think that when you go into hypnosis, it's like sleep. Oh, I am in hypnosis. You are controlling my mind. That's rubbish. This is hypnosis. Would it surprise you if I told you I'm in hypnosis right now? Do I look like it? No. Do I sound like it? No. You wouldn't know. Now I'm out of hypnosis. Could you tell? No. See, it's not like people think. It isn't this weird state, but it does allow you to access things that you couldn't normally access. I'll show you one example. Now, some people do go into that kind of weird state. It's, I'd say, about 5 to 10% of people at best. But don't worry about it, because you won't even know if you do that. I remember working with somebody once, and this is one of the weird things that happened. Having said it's not weird, it can go that way, but it rarely does. I was working with a woman, and she was in a trance, so it's a typical kind of trance. And I remember she opened her eyes and looked at me, and she just went. You could tell she wasn't there. Her eyes were like, I'm trying to stimulate it now, but her eyes were kind of like she wasn't there. And she said, I came to you for help. And I just said, the first thing that came to mind, go back. And she just went. Now that is one of the times it can go a bit weird. And this is where people go, oh, I'm not going to use hypnosis. Oh, it's evil. Oh, it's the work of the devil. Oh, it's against my religion. No. What it is that you're focusing. Hypnosis is just focus. I'm going to get driving again. And yeah, let's keep talking about this. Hypnosis is just a state of focus. You don't have to have your eyes closed. You don't have to be asleep. It's not about being asleep. The phrase or word hypnosis came about because many years ago, hypnosis is thousands of years old. The Egyptians were showed to use it on some of their hieroglyphics, the images of it. But when it first came about, so this is going to be off topic, but I hope you understand what the topic of this video was. Hypnosis is, you might know, hypnos was the Greek god of sleep. So the people who found or first started using hypnosis, like Franz Anton Mesmer, which is where the word mesmerized comes from. Mesmer was one of the first hypnotists or mesmerists, whatever you call himself. They believed it was sleep because sometimes some people do go into a sleep, like it looks like they're asleep when they do it. So it was called hypnosis, which isn't what it is at all. And everyone associates it with sleep and this weird kind of trance and whatever. And it's really not like that for most people. Yes, some people do go like that. I've had people who have done a session with me and they've told me that they went and experienced a past life. Did they? Or is that just their imagination? I don't know, it's up to them. But the point of this video is, when you do hypnosis properly, you can access a whole side of you that you aren't even aware of. And there is another way you can do it, which is kind of going into a topic for another video, which I'll probably make after this. There's a way you can do it where it's what I call using a power word. So sometimes you're speaking to someone and they will say something in a certain way. So for example, let's just say I worked with somebody once who kept using the word disheartened, and I noticed they kept saying disheartened. That's what I call a power word. So one way you can hypnotise someone is, how you spot that is, it took me hours and months of videos to explain that, but I could tell from the way he was saying disheartened that there was something relevant about that word for him. So the way I hypnotised him is I simply said disheartened, and he started going into a bit of a trance, and then I said disheartened, disheartened, disheartened. And you might watch that video, no, I didn't film it, and you think, why is this guy on about? Why does he keep saying disheartened? That's how you hypnotise someone, because you see that word had a lot of relevance for that person. But where people go wrong is they watch videos like that, especially driving instructors I won't name, who are copying me and thinking they know it all when they're getting it all wrong. And they're saying things like, this is how you fix anxiety, disheartened, disheartened, disheartened. No, because they haven't bothered doing training like I did. And they're just watching in, copying me as usual, and getting it all wrong as usual. You do not fix anxiety by just saying one word to someone. You have to find what that word is. And I'm sorry, this is going off on a bit of a tangent, a bit of a rant, but you hypnotise someone not by swinging a pocket watch in front of their eyes and all this. That's all just old-fashioned stuff. Yes, it can work, and this is probably for other videos, but that is not how you do it. So it's not what people think it is. That's the point of all this. Hypnosis is simply when you focus and you can access a part of your mind you don't normally. And yes, some people do have a strange reaction. I've had people crying, sneezing. Yes, those things can happen. But if you are not willing to face that, well, you won't fix your problem. And this is where people go wrong. People want a logical solution. I've got to have a solution that makes sense and it must add up. That's why you're not going to fix it, because it isn't logical and conscious. It's subconscious and illogical. And when you've worked with hundreds of people all over the world, like I have, you get used to dealing with this stuff. And I can very quickly and very easily get most people to access this part of the mind they haven't accessed for years. What I do find interesting is you can never tell how people are going to react to it. I had a client only the other day, and we did a consultation, and I was thinking, I've got to stop doing this. You have to stop sort of judging how you think people are going to take to sessions. I thought, this guy is really serious. He was like a very frank, no-nonsense person. Yes, no, yes. He was very logical, very, what you call like a normal, everyday person. Someone who admittedly didn't even believe in what I did. We started the call, and before we even began, he was crying. As soon as he appeared on the screen, he was in tears. And I said, what's happening there? And he was just crying, his tears flying out his eyes. And he said, I don't know what's going on. I was just getting ready for this session, and I just can't stop crying. Any idea why that is? One of my big secrets I'm not going to share with you right now. But anyone know how I do that? Well, the camera's overheating, unfortunately, so I'm going to have to go. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you again soon for more videos. Camera's